Hey guys, we have our base or page CSS styling done. Now we just need to do these blocks. So we're gonna go ahead and style the TL block. Okay, and a block basically represents it represents a year block or an event. All right, so we have year, event, 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 year. So these are all going to be wrapped in that TL block. All right, so we want to position it relative. All right, and I'm going to give it a width of 100%, so that'll be 100% of its container, and then a minimum height of 100 pixels, and then a margin on the bottom. Okay, we want to separate them a little bit, of 20 pixels. Okay, so that's it for the block. So actually, let's save that. Okay, so you can see that the year, we have the margin after the year, after the event. So let's go ahead and do the year. So TL year. And I'm going to give the year div a background with that big point, the big circle. Okay, so whoops, what am I doing? So URL and let's see, img/point_big.png. All right, and that's going to be a no repeat. And let's try 50% positioning, and it's going to be displayed as a block, and give it a width of 70 pixels, which I believe is the width of the image as well, and the height, which will be 70 pixels. And then we'll align it to the center, and give it a margin auto because we want it pushed to the middle. Alright, let's check that out. Okay, so it's in the middle, it's placed correctly. Now that the actual text is not. Alright, so remember we have this text inside of another div, so we can target that with TL year div. Okay, so this is strictly the text. Alright, so a few things here. We're going to set the color to white, and the font size is going to be 18, and then let's make it bold and display it as a block. That way we can put we'll put padding top first, and I think 23 pixels is good, and we're going to, did I already align it? No, we gotta align it to the center. Alright, so let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks good. I want it to be a little lower. You see, I want the line to stick up a little more right here. So I'm going to put a little margin on top of the year. Say 20 pixels. There we go. Alright, so we have our years, and then our events are in between, so let's style those now. Going to have a lot of similar styling. TL event. I don't know why I keep doing that with the comma. Alright, so we're going to give this a background. This is going to be in the images folder, and it's going to be point small.png. Alright, and this isn't going to repeat. And we're going to put it in the top center. Margin will be set to auto. And we're going to give it a width of 100%. and then an overflow of hidden, and we're going to set, now did I do it on the, well, I can't remember if it was on in the one I showed you, but I want, when the page loads, I want the line here to show first and then have the events like kind of fade in. All right, and I'm just going to use a simple CSS transition for that. All right, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to use a transition, I'm going to use an animation. All right, so let's see, actually, you know what, let's do that after. I'll just leave that for now. But I do want to set visibility to visible. Okay, so I'll come back to the transition. So the next thing, let's do the first div. Let's see, we have an event, we have our event, and let's see, I want to set both the left event and the right events to have a width of 45 pixels. All right, so instead of styling them both, I'm just going to use the greater than sign, which will let us get the first div under the element. So TL event, and then we're going to say greater than div. So this will grab both the right and left divs, because I want to set them both to width 45%. And I'm going to also position relative. All right, and then let's see. I now want to get this div. Okay, and I want this div to have the white background with the rounded edges. All right, so to get this one, I'm going to use the TL event, and then I'm going to select two divs from there. Okay, so we'll say TL event div. All right, in that I want to set a background of white. We're going to set the border radius to 10 pixels. And I'm also going to give it 15 pixels padding on all sides. Alright, so let's see what this looks like. Okay, so right now everything is positioned on into the left because we haven't set up our right and left divs yet. We also haven't done the arrows. We need to have those arrows, which we'll do. Alright, so now I'm going to go and div the right side. Style the right side div with TL event, and then we want the div with the class of event R, and then actually, yeah, all right, we'll do that. And this is going to have a float. Obviously we want this to float to the right, and let me just copy this. This will be event L, and we'll float this one to the left. Save. Alright, looks good. Now we want to add our arrows. Okay, we have those two images that are just basically triangles. I want them to point to the dot for that specific event. Alright, so I'm going to give these R and L's, this event R and event L, I'm going to give them a background image of the arrow. Okay, so URL img slash, and then this is going to be the right div will have arrow left dot png, and we want no repeat, and we want it to be 0 0. Okay, and then let me just copy this. For the left, it's going to have arrow right and no repeat is good, and we want this to be at the top right. So save that. Alright, now you don't see it, you don't see anything because the arrow is actually behind this main div. It's behind the event. So what we need to do is, let's take a look at the HTML. What we want to do is get this div, okay, for each event, and then set a margin so that we can push it over so that the arrow is then visible. Okay, so let's say TL event div dot, we'll do event R for right, and then we want to target the div inside, and then for this we're going to set this to margin left 20 pixels. Okay, so let's see if that works, and there we go. So the right side's good, and now I'm just going to copy this and change this to an L and change this to a right, and there we go. So I guess the last thing to do here is to style this date, okay, because right now it just is part of the H3 heading. So we'll go here and say TL event, and then we want to get the time div. I'm sorry, time element. So we're going to make the background a reddish color, which is going to be C03B44, and the text color should be white, and I'm going to set the font size to 12 pixels. Give it a little padding and rounded corners. So let's see how that looks. Alright, good. So we're pretty much there. We just need to make this responsive, because right now you can see that it is just horrible if we try and resize it. Actually, that line shouldn't be moving, so I think we have something wrong. And you know what, I think it has to do with the container. I actually want to move the container outside above the timeline div. Alright, so let's go down to the bottom here and just switch these. Copy that, or cut that. Alright, let's try that. There we go. Okay, so you can see we have no responsive functionality whatsoever. So that's what we'll be doing in the next video.